The majority of people watched Avatar, The Last Airbender, as a beautifully made animated series. A story about a boy who has to master 4 elements and save the world from a 100-year war, with incredible characters, deep world building, and one of the most satisfying story arcs ever put on screen. But underneath all of that, hidden subtly in plain sight, is one of the most complete maps of spiritual development ever placed inside a piece of popular entertainment. The people who made this series did not invent its philosophy from the ground up. They drew directly from real spiritual traditions: Buddhism, Taoism, Hindu thought, and the deeper patterns of human awakening that show up in every tradition across history. The 4 elements, the avatar state, the chakras, the past lives, the balance between the physical and spiritual worlds. None of it was random or from the imagination of writers. All of it is pointing at something real. In this video, we will break down what the avatar actually represents, what the journey of Aang and the entire lineage of avatars is showing us, and why the path the series describes is one that very few people in real life ever walk, even though it is available to every single one of us. Part 1. What the Avatar represents. The Avatar in the series is the one being who can master all 4 elements, while every other bender can only ever master 1. On the first look, this is a story mechanic, but underneath it is one of the most precise symbols in the entire series. Each element represents a different dimension of the human being. Earth is the body, stability, endurance, the ability to stand your ground and remain unshaken. Water is emotion, adaptability, the capacity to flow, to heal, and to move through change without breaking. Fire is will, drive, passion, the energy that creates and destroys depending on how it is held. Air is the mind, freedom, detachment, the ability to rise above and see clearly from a distance. Most people spend their entire lives mastering one of these and remaining underdeveloped in the others. The person who is all fire and no water burns everyone around them. The person who is all air and no earth floats through life without ever grounding anything into reality. The person who is all earth and no air becomes rigid and unable to change. Real development, the kind the Avatar represents, is the mastery and integration of all 4 at once. A person who is grounded in their body, fluid in their emotions, powerful in their will, and clear in their mind, all at the same time, in balance. That is what makes the Avatar rare. Not really the supernatural ability to bend 4 elements, but the internal achievement of becoming whole across every dimension of the self, when almost everyone else remains partial. The Avatar is the symbol of the fully realized human being, the person who has refused to specialize in one part of themselves at the expense of the rest, and has instead done the much harder work of integrating all of it. Part 2. The Avatar State and Higher Consciousness. The Avatar state is the moment Aang's eyes and tattoos glow and he gains access to the combined power, knowledge, and wisdom of every avatar who came before him. In the story, it is his most powerful ability. Symbolically, it is one of the most accurate depictions of a specific spiritual experience that any piece of popular media has ever produced. The avatar state represents the moment a human being drops out of their small, individual self and taps into something vast that was always available underneath it. In that state, Aang is no longer just a boy from the air nomads. He becomes a channel for a consciousness far larger than his personal mind. The accumulated wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes moves through him. This is in the perfect metaphor for what happens when a person moves past the boundaries of their ego and connects with a level of awareness that does not belong to their personal history alone. But the series is careful about something important. The avatar state is dangerous. If Aang is killed while in it, the entire cycle of avatars ends forever. And Aang cannot access it reliably until he learns to let go. This leads us on to a truth about higher states of consciousness. They cannot be forced, controlled, or grasped by the ego. They open only when the person is willing to release the very thing that wants to control them. Aang spends much of the series unable to access the avatar state at will precisely because he is holding on, gripping, afraid to surrender. The power becomes available only when he stops trying to seize it and learns to let go into it. That is the exact paradox at the heart of every spiritual path. The higher state is available to everyone and reachable by no one who is trying to grab it. It arrives through surrender, never through force. Part 3. The Chakras and Aang's Greatest Test. One of the most spiritually direct episodes in the entire series is the one where Aang has to open his chakras. The show takes the chakra system, which comes straight from Hindu and Buddhist traditions, and lays it out almost as those traditions describe it. 7 energy centers running up the body, each one blocked by a specific fear, attachment, or illusion that has to be confronted and released before the energy can move freely. Aang moves up through them one by one. Each chakra requires him to face something real: fear, guilt, shame, grief, lies, illusion. He confronts each blockage and releases it, and the energy rises. This is a great depiction of how inner work really functions. You do not ascend to higher awareness by adding something new. You ascend by confronting and clearing what is already blocking the flow. Every layer of fear and attachment that gets faced opens the next level. Then the series does something extraordinary and psychologically precise. Aang reaches the final chakra, the one that grants full access to the avatar state, and it is blocked by his attachment to Katara, the person he loves. To open it, he is told he has to let go of his attachment to her, and he refuses. He chooses his personal attachment over the completion of his cosmic purpose. This is one of the most honest moments in the entire show, because it captures the exact place where most people might stop on their own path. The final barrier to full realization is rarely fear or weakness. It is the thing we love the most. The attachment we are unwilling to release because releasing it feels like a kind of death. The series does not pretend this is easy or judge Aang for failing. It simply shows the truth. The last gate is guarded by our deepest attachment, and most people, when they reach it, choose the attachment. That choice is completely human, and it is also the exact point where the full journey stalls. Part 4. The Past Lives and the Avatar Lineage. The Avatar is not one person. It is a single consciousness moving through a continuous cycle of lifetimes, being reborn again and again across the generations, each incarnation building on the accumulated wisdom of all the ones before. Aang can call on each and every avatar stretching back beyond memory. They live inside him as accessible wisdom, guidance, and experience. Symbolically, this points at something that runs through most spiritual traditions: the idea that the wisdom available to a human being is not limited to what they personally accumulated in this one lifetime. That underneath the individual self, there is a deeper continuity, a stream of consciousness and understanding that a person can learn to access when they develop enough. Whether you take that literally or as a metaphor, the meaning holds. The fully realized human being is not cut off and isolated in their small personal story. They are connected to something far larger that they can draw from. Each past avatar also represents a different quality and a different lesson. Roku carries the weight of the consequences of hesitation. Kyoshi carries fierce justice and decisiveness. Each one mastered the role in their own way, and each one made mistakes that the next inherited. This is a beautiful depiction of how wisdom passes through time. It's never as a perfect, unbroken transmission, but as an accumulation of lessons, including the failures, that each generation hands to the next. Avatar keeps returning, lifetime after lifetime, whenever the world falls into imbalance. This points at the deepest idea in the entire series, that the force of awakening and balance in this world is never permanently defeated. It withdraws, it is reborn, and it returns whenever the darkness grows deep enough to require it. The same pattern every tradition describes when it speaks of the return of an awakened being at the moment of greatest need. Part 5. Why so few people walk this path? The path of the Avatar is available in principle to every human being. The 4 elements are dimensions of the self that every person has access to. The chakras are energy centers every human carries. The Avatar state points at a level of consciousness that lives underneath every ordinary mind. Nothing about this journey belongs only to a chosen fictional character. It is the map of what a human being can become. But almost nobody walks it fully. The reasons are the same reasons the series dramatizes through Aang. Most people master one element of themselves and neglect the rest, because integrating all 4 is far harder than specializing in one. Most humans reach a chakra blocked by fear or grief and stop there, because facing what is blocking them is more painful than staying where they are. And almost everyone, when they reach that final gate guarded by their deepest attachment, chooses the attachment, exactly as Aang did, because letting go of what we love most feels unbearable. The journey is not a secret, but it is difficult. It asks for the integration of every part of yourself, the honest confrontation of every fear you have buried, and ultimately, the surrender of the very things you are most unwilling to release. That is why the Avatar is rare in the story, and it is why the fully realized human being is rare in reality, because so few are willing to pay its real cost. The series leaves us with something important. Aang does eventually access the Avatar state. He does find balance, and he does integrate all 4 elements and become what he was meant to become. The path stalls, but it does not have to end. The gate that stopped you once is still there waiting, openable the moment you become willing to walk through it. That is the real message hidden inside Avatar: The Last Airbender. The Avatar is not someone else. The Avatar is what any of us can become if we are willing to do the work no one else is willing to do. Closing. Avatar: The Last Airbender can be used as a story of human awakening inside one of the most beloved animated stories ever told. The 4 elements as the dimensions of the self that must be integrated, the chakras as the blockages that must be faced and cleared, the Avatar state as the higher consciousness that opens only through surrender, the lineage of past lives as the deeper stream of wisdom underneath the small personal self, and the final gate, guarded by our deepest attachment. The show called this figure the Avatar and made him rare. Real life does the same. The fully realized human being, the one who has integrated every part of themselves and become a bridge between the ordinary world and something far greater, has always been rare, because so few are willing to walk it all the way through. The map was never fiction. The elements are in you. The blockages are in you. The higher state is in you. And the gate is still waiting. The only real question the series leaves you with is whether you are willing to become the Avatar of your own life or not.